I'm going to go pick up some chicks. Good looking ones. Hey, what's your name? Because we watched Season 9, Episode 1, The Butter Shave. So, Katie.
Season 9.
Beginning of the end.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I will say one of the ranking lists indicated that it seemed like this was the beginning of the end.
What did I think about it?
Yeah, what did you think about it? That's
I'll tell you.
That's what we start off with.
It had some memorable moments that I am aware of, strung together with not very interesting stories.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Like, maybe 3/4 of the way through, I think I looked over at you and I was like, what has been funny so far? It's not like anything was bad, but it was just kind of like stuff happened.
I wrote at the end, like, I think Jerry was pretty good in this episode. I said, hacky Elaine story, hacky George story, hacky Kramer story. Jerry, fine.
Yeah.
Maybe they just can't think of zany things for other people to do. Because it used to be a show about regular situations and inappropriate reactions to them. And now it's like...
It's the inverse.
What if Kramer covered himself in butter and sat on the roof?
The world is regular and they're weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So The Butter Shave was written by Alec Berg, Jeff Schaefer, and David Mendel. It was directed by Andy Ackerman, and it aired on September 25th, 1997. Vulture.com ranked it as the 47th best Seinfeld episode.
What?
Talked about Kramer crisping up on the roof and had the George montage set to 9 to 5 was a highlight reel in itself.
I'm going to do my correction from our last episode now because you said Dave Mandel was one of the writers. He was the Frolf guy that you said acted with a lot of arms.
Oh, was he?
In the last episode. Yeah. When you said, like, is this guy an actor? No, he's writer Dave Mandel.
There you go. Screen Crush ranked it as the 158th best episode.
Correct.
Yeah. They indicated that season 9, this was the beginning of the end. IMDb had it at a little bit of a higher 66, probably still a little bit too high. And a 8.4 out of 10.
That means nothing.
Yeah.
Who are the guest stars?
So we had a couple of returning guest stars. So this episode featured Wayne Knight, Patrick Warburton, and Steve Heitner, reprising their roles of
Newman.
That was it. Newman, Puddy, and Banya. It also featured Gordon Jump.
Wow.
Who played Tomasulo?
Is that vegetable lasagna?
No, that's the George's boss.
Oh, okay.
At Play Now. He was in the movie Conquest for the Planet of the Apes, the TV show Soap, and he was an actor on WKRP in Cincinnati. Did you ever watch WKRP in Cincinnati?
Not really.
No, I caught episodes here and there. Yeah. Also, I
Les Nessman?
Is that WKRP in Cincinnati?
I think so.
Oh. I used to love the original Planet of the Apes movies. I thought because they've made like 1 million of them. I thought they were all awesome. I don't know why. Is this a joke? No, I just really like them.
Oh, I thought you were setting up something.
Oh.
I didn't know there were a lot of them.
I mean,
all I know is Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, he's in the first. He's in a lot of them.
Oh, I really thought there was just one.
I mean, the first one's the good one.
Okay,
and then they go downhill from there.
Are they called like Dr. Zaius and the Planet of the Apes by the end?
No, it's all. So it's like the Planet of the Apes, Return to Planet of the Apes, Conquest for Planet of the Apes, Battle for Planet of the Apes, like that kind of.
Is Charlton Heston in all of these movies?
No.
Okay.
I think he's only in the first one. He might be in the second one. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I think he's just in the first one. And then Frank Van Keeken played Vegetable Lasagna.
Does he have a name?
So on Wikipedia and in IMDb, the character is listed as Vegetable Lasagna / Magnus.
He does say his name.
Yeah. So he was known actually he was a writer more than an actor. So he wrote for The Next Step, Winging It, Mad About You, and one of your favorite television shows of all time.
Kids in the Hall?
Kids in the Hall.
What? What's his name again?
Vegetable Lasagna. Frank Van Keeken.
I wonder if he didn't write this episode, but when a couple times they bring up the word puke and how funny it is, it made me think of Kids in the Hall. I darn near puked.
Darn near puked.
We say that all the time.
It's a funny word.
Can I use that? Well, any other guest stars?
I didn't write down anybody else's name.
Chris Parnell?
Oh, yeah. But he was in it so briefly. Chris Parnell
Carnes?
from...
Everything.
Yeah.
30
Rock.
Let's throw it back to last week when I asked you if you remembered this episode.
Kramer starts shaving with butter?
Okay. Well.
I think I nailed it.
I'll read the Netflix synopsis. George's coworkers think he has a physical disability. Kramer butters his body. Elaine and Puddy break up on a flight. Banya rides Jerry's coattails. So last week when you said what it was about, I assumed it was going to be an intellectual disability.
That's funny.
So George has a cane.
Better than crutches.
Crutches, everyone has questions. Crutches are a funny story.
It's a sad story.
Yeah. So I did laugh when they're in the coffee shop and George puts the newspaper down and he's got a mustache and Jerry has got a mustache.
I conceptually, I think this is a funny bit. Like they've been on hiatus, presumably, for season 8 ended in May. So we're back in September. So you haven't seen these characters for a while. And your first scene with them, boom, facial hair.
Yeah.
It did remind me of when I took 7 months off of work to be with our daughter, and I decided to grow a beard. Yep. Mainly because I thought it would be funny.
Well, Jerry looked good with a soup strainer.
I thought it suited Jason Alexander quite well.
It was a little thin for my liking, but his face, you probably need a thinner mustache on his face. But Jerry's mustache looked very natural and nice on him.
I think Jerry there maybe looked like if Ned Flanders had
came to life.
Came to life.
Yeah, it was very Neddy.
Yeah, like the same hair and. Yeah.
Funny enough, we were watching The Simpsons tonight, and it was an episode where Ned shaves off his mustache because Homer says people are talking about it.
Did you hear our daughter's reaction the second that Ned Flanders came on screen with no mustache?
Ew!
That was so funny. What is Holland?
I don't know the answer to why Holland and the Netherlands and the people are Dutch. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Do you know the answer to this?
I know that Holland is a region of the Netherlands, right? Or the Netherlands is a region of Holland?
I think in the Netherlands, they refer to it as the Netherlands. And other people call it Holland?
I think Holland is a region in the Netherlands. Is Dutch a xenonym? It's what English people call people from the Netherlands, but they call themselves...
Well, it's like the Germans speak Deutsch.
Yeah.
They don't speak German.
Yeah.
And they call it Deutschland. Mm-hmm. So
they're Dutch?
Germany is an exonym. Is that the word?
Yeah. I feel like an out-of-work porn star.
I also laughed when Kramer came in and Jerry's like, we're not. And he just left.
He just left. Comes back later. That would have been a fun in-studio.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got any shredded coconut?
What was he going to do with that?
I don't know. I really want to know. Okay, that was the extent of my enjoyment of Kramer in this episode. I razz him and the writers for the physical comedy and the over-the-top Kramerness of it all. I feel like You Got Any Shredded Coconut is funnier than him falling into stuff in the kitchen and being covered with ingredients and Wayne Knight salivating.
I understand why they did it so that he would be covered in those things. But when the person walks in with a gigantic bowl of shredded Parmesan cheese.
What is he making? Alton Brown's stuffed
Oh my God.
Manicotti.
Yeah. When you made me make that stuffed broccoli manicotti, it required, I don't know, 12
6
cups
of
shredded Parmesan cheese.
I think you gave
Jesus
up after
Christ.
4.
It was so much.
It was really good though.
It
We'll
was
never
fine.
have it again.
No. But just the way that he moved in that, nobody would do that unless they were attempting to cover themselves in like the bowl, you know? Like,
and that guy, he just keeps on walking. He probably sat there shredding all that cheese.
I can kind of understand that reaction. I think you would just not say anything and just leave.
Take off the apron.
Walk right out of the building. You're gone.
So this episode had a map shot, which is a bad sign, and a musical montage, which I also feel like is a bad sign.
Yeah.
Why do we need the map shot? They didn't go anywhere else on the map. They were just like, this is where they are.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How long does it take to fly from Oslo to New York?
They said with stopovers, so they were not flying direct.
Still, like,
yeah.
Interleaving Elaine's story with everything else, there's like several days of like George, applying for a job and getting a job and getting hired and going to work. And then it's just like Elaine is on a plane for
the entire time.
7 days, apparently, which I can kind of understand how she would react in this situation.
Did you like Plain Elaine?
It was fine. I think I was thinking about it after. So the reason that they did this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on maternity leave when they filmed the other scenes. So they needed like her isolated and to do something. I think you could have done it.
She wasn't contagious.
I think you could have done that story as them traveling throughout Europe and like breaking up every other day. And I think it might have worked better and like it would have made more sense in the context of like time for the other stories as well. And you could have like outside of the plane, you could have had like other more ridiculous situations than just whatever, but
maybe because they only had her for like a day and one set.
Could be, yeah.
Because, I like smarmy Elaine, I like business Elaine, but Elaine on the plane was just like when she was slamming her seat back. That's not her character, right? Like
that was a little weird. Yeah.
The only thing that has happened to her is she's annoyed with Puddy, right? The guy didn't do anything behind her. Vegetable lasagna didn't do anything to her, right? Like she's usually reacting to somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
And this was just her being an asshole.
Yeah. Although, I mean, if you're on a plane for multiple days, all bets are off.
Yeah. In the middle seat.
Yeah, that was rough.
I wrote down, I don't want to hear about how interesting the change with the hole in it is. And I laughed out loud.
I think that's one of the best parts of traveling around. You get the weird money and you're looking at it and you can't figure out what the coins are. And
you come home with so much because you're like, well, I'm going to use my credit card and then...
they have a little window on their bills. How cool.
How fun.
Yeah.
Now it's all the euro. Why is the butter brown when Kramer's using it the first time? Does he have that much like tan makeup on his face that the butter's taking it off?
I probably assume that that's what happened.
But that's before he goes out in the sun.
I mean, the amount of just like makeup that actors have to wear on a regular basis.
But it was very brown.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like makeup mixed with butter equals brown. I mean, Michael Richards is probably pretty old, so you got to like
give him some tone.
Yeah,
some Cheeto
brighten him up a little bit.
Haze. Yeah, they mentioned the internet. I read on the internet he killed.
Yeah,
I think that's only the second time.
I did like I can't remember the first part of this line, but when George says like a fish could eat laughs. You're talking about Remora.
Oh yeah, I like when he's talking about his new job and he says his private bathroom's got the high toilet. He feels like a gargoyle sitting up there.
One of the things I was reading about this article wondered if this was a reference to Jason Alexander being the voice for the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Yeah. My parents have one of those tall toilets.
They do?
Always, yeah. Oh, they might have gotten rid of it when they renovated their bathroom. They used to have one of them.
Which bathroom?
The main one at the cottage.
That was not a tall toilet.
It was a tall toilet.
No, it wasn't.
I guarantee you it was a tall toilet. It was taller than a regular toilet.
As a tall person, that was not a tall toilet.
Where you're perched up there. It was. I guarantee it was a tall toilet.
We will have to address this in a future episode. At least 4 people who listen to this podcast need to weigh in on this.
It was a tall toilet. I guarantee it was a tall toilet.
Why? Why would they buy a tall toilet?
Because they're getting older and it's harder to get down.
Down is okay. Up is the problem.
I mean, both.
What would you call what you're doing to yourself if you're...
Right now?
If you're slathered in butter and sitting in the sun.
Oh, yeah. So I was thinking about this. So Jerry comes in and Jerry says, like, actually, technically you've been sauteed, which is also wrong. I can't remember what the first one was.
Fried.
Fried is also wrong.
Yes.
I think technically what has happened here is he has been broiled.
Mm-hmm.
Heat source above, food stuff below. That's a broil. It's a classic broil.
It's a classic broil. Maybe convection broil?
I'm sure. I mean, if there was
Air
a fan or something, I mean...
That didn't exist.
That, one, it didn't exist at the time. 2, I think you need a more powerful fan.
The air part.
Chris...
Parnell?
No. There's a chef on YouTube that does really good work, but I hate his voice. I think it might be Chris Young. He worked for Heston Blumenthal, but he had a really good video where they explained how air fryers work.
It's just a convection oven, right?
It is, but one thing that I didn't know about it is, you know how the fan is, you have a basket underneath and you put a thing on top that has the fan in it and it like heats up. It blows the air, instead of blowing air down on the food, the air is going up and then it circulates like on the outside to like,
okay.
So that it can remove moisture that way instead of like, so I thought that was interesting.
If you ran it long enough, would it be a dehydrator?
Long enough and low enough heat, right? It wouldn't be a freeze dryer though.
Do you want to get a freeze dryer?
I looked at getting a freeze dryer. When Costco had that freeze dried pineapple.
Yeah.
I was like, let's get a freeze dryer. So they're like $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh my God.
I did look online for like used ones and I found a used one, but it was still several $1,000s.
Oh.
And I was like, you can buy a lot of pineapple for $4,000.
I was going to guess much, much less than that.
No. So to freeze dry, you know how freeze drying works?
I mean, tell me.
So the thing with freeze drying is you need a perfect vacuum chamber and then it drops the pressure and the temperature. So the water instantly sublimates. So it switches from liquid to a gas instantaneously. And then you slowly bring, not everybody listening to this episode might. So, and then you bring the temperature back up slowly. Okay. So because you need that like perfect like vacuum chamber to get as low to like pressure as possible. Are we talking like
absolute zero?
Well, no, but like pressure wise, it gets as low as possible. And then.
So is it actually freezing it?
It is, it's dropping it below 0 degrees, but because it's a vacuum, instead of freezing it solid, it turns into a gas.
Cool. You could probably sell that gas.
I don't think you'd sell that gas. It's just
you can sell water that an asparagus has been in. I think you can sell the gas that pineapple has sublimated.
Do you remember when Whole Foods was selling the bottles of water with a single piece of asparagus in it, which is what you're referencing?
Yes.
Do you remember what Whole Foods' reaction to that was?
There wasn't supposed to be asparagus in it?
There wasn't supposed to be a piece of asparagus in it. It was supposed to be like asparagus essence or asparagus like
homeopathic
oils,
asparagus,
which is technically worse because you're getting less asparagus.
You don't even get to eat it.
Oh.
But it remembers the asparagus.
It remembers that water has memory. I do think maybe the closest I have ever seen you get in a fight with your aunt was when you brought up homeopathic medicine.
Oh no.
You can cut this out if you want.
Yep. Do you want to tell people what side I was on, or
you were anti, okay, and she was
pretty
pro.
Obvious. Yeah. I mean, but it is just water. It's just water.
So like what I think the issue was is both of your interpretations of when you were talking about homeopathic. I think you were talking about like homeopathic medicine where it's like water diluted, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. She was talking about like going to a naturopath that offers homeopathy.
Okay.
And it helped her. So she felt
Yeah, but there's
attacked. But it was the miscommunication where you were like, it's useless. It's not a real thing. Help me.
So she was like, studies about this. What is helpful about homeopathy is that somebody listens to you for an hour.
Sure, yeah.
So basically, what people need is therapy, counseling, not little bottles of water.
Right. But at the same time, she went to a person who was offering a service, called it that service, and she got help.
Yeah.
So that thing helped her.
I wonder what costs more.
Fair. I mean, I've gotten to the same argument with people when I talk about going to a chiropractor, and they're like, "Oh, that's not real. It was invented by a blacksmith 200 years ago. There's no sublimates or whatever it is that they call the things between your disc spines, and just feels good." I'm like,
yeah, but it feels good.
Yeah, uh-huh. It helps, and it feels good, and then she gives me some exercises to do, and I get better.
Yeah.
Got shockwave therapy today, man. Like a new man.
I feel like, we've got a Sawzall. I'll just get a little attachment.
You need it's pneumatic. It's not mechanical. You need an air compressor.
Okay. I know someone.
I asked how much this machine cost, and it was $8,000.
Man, why is everything we want $8,000?
She recommended I get those cryo boots.
Okay, let's talk about Seinfeld.
Uh-huh.
Damn you, Seinfeld, you useless pustule.
Was that Newman?
Yeah.
Oh, that was when he walked in because Jerry wasn't cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Did you notice Newman was reading Alive while he was sitting next to Kramer?
He was reading Alive. I did notice that. The imagery of him like stirring, like what is going on with the scene? Like,
do you want it? I feel like I'm getting dumber just by talking about it. Kramer
why
has
was
to
there
stay,
sticks of butter just sitting on the edge of the hot tub?
Because Kramer's got to stay lubricated.
I think technically going in a hot tub takes water out of your body.
Yeah, that's why he put the butter in. Duh.
So this episode does feature a phenomena that is taking
sat phone?
No.
Oh.
That is taking the internet by storm in
What?
2024, 2025.
Tell me.
Are you familiar with the concept of raw dogging a flight?
Oh, yeah.
First off, we should probably put a pin in how raw dogging has just become an acceptable term in society.
I'm not even going to beep it out.
But you know that there are people that are like posting on social media about how they will get on a flight, not turn on the TV, not read a book, not nap. Some are like standing by the toilet the entire time.
That must be so annoying.
It is
for flight crew.
absolutely.
Sit down.
Stay in your seat. Mind your business.
Yeah. I have heard of this phenomena. Why? Why are they doing that?
I don't know. It's stupid. I do think that people aren't bored enough these days, though.
Oh yeah, I do think there's value in boredom, but you have to get to a point of boredom and then you alleviate the boredom by doing something.
Mm-hmm.
If you always have some things, you will get bored of the something. In the kitchen where the guys are hanging out at the comedy club, there's a poster that says Norman and the Normettes.
So I really remember, I know it was supposed to be bad, but Jerry's line when he's performing and he's bailing, what's the deal with lampshades? Got light, why do you want shade?
Yeah, it was good. Even the bad was good. What's the deal with people getting sick?
Have you seen, I can't remember who the roast is of, but Norm Macdonald, like it's a Comedy Central roast for, I can't remember who, some comedian, and Norm Macdonald goes up there and he basically does like PG level dad jokes that you'd find in a like 100 Best Jokes book.
Uh-huh. I haven't seen this.
It was so funny.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't know if it landed for everybody, but I found it so funny.
You haven't read his book that I bought you.
Norm Macdonald?
Yeah.
You bought me a Norm Macdonald book?
Yes, I did. For Christmas.
This Christmas?
No. Many Christmases ago. It's right there.
You found that very quickly, considering we have reorganized our book using the BISAC method? BISAC?
I can't remember what the method's called. Other Katy will remind me. But yeah, I found it very quickly because I reorganized our bookshelves, all 11 of them.
Everything is neat and tidy.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know what this says about me, but when they get out of the airport and Elaine and Puddy are getting in taxis, when he tells her to go to hell, I found him so attractive. It's his voice.
I'll have to remember, go to hell.
No, it's less gravelly than that.
Go to hell.
Close.
Okay, I'll remind you to go to hell later on.
That's about all I have.
I was going to ask about those paper things on the turkey legs. You ever seen those in real life?
No.
Yeah. I don't think they exist.
Like, is it to protect the bones from, like, burning and drying out?
Yeah, I assume so.
But they're paper.
So I don't know if you... Like, I've seen people put, like, aluminum foil or, like, stuff on, like, the turkey legs when you're cooking it.
Maybe it's like nothing was on the turkey legs and it looks gross.
Has been. Yeah, maybe.
So we're going to put a little hat on it?
Yeah, sure. Going back to Elaine, I didn't write down the whole line, but Puddy complains like, oh, the Gap in Rome is different than the Gap back home. It's like so many people that are like out on vacation. It's like, oh, let's see what the Gap has here. Oh, let's see what different items they have at McDonald's are. What are the special tea items at Starbucks in Japan?
What are you in favor of doing this? Because we enjoyed the different things at McDonald's and Starbucks.
I like some of those things, but I do think it's kind of funny that we do that.
Yeah. We use their weird money with holes in it.
I think I'm more willing to go to franchises in foreign countries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like here, I'm like, oh, let's go to like an independent coffee shop. Let's find out like a little like cool little place. And then it's like, they have McDonald's has a
tempura burger.
A burger made entirely out of shrimp. Let's get that.
Yeah. All right. So next week we have The Voice.
Hello. La, la, la.
All right.
George will have to deal with the fallout of pretending to be handicapped.
Mm-hmm.
And Kramer gets an intern.
All right.
I don't know what Elaine does.
Can't wait.
She's there too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?